Hi everyone, welcome back to JXG Spotlight. I'm Gamika De Silva, your host. Today I'm lining up an exciting episode and an exciting discussion with an interesting personality. To be very honest, I was struggling to give the introduction because I know this person from multiple angles. A friend, a friendship over a decade or so. I'm a great admirer of him as a sports personality, and he is also playing a key role currently as captaining the Sri Lankan rugby team. There you go. No need of introduction to sports enthusiastic and the rugby lovers. He is no stranger, and to everyone else, the current Sri Lanka rugby captain, Mr. Nigel Ratwatte, is on our show. Nigel, welcome to JXG Spotlight, and the spotlight is on you.
Thank you, Gamika, for inviting me for JXG Spotlight. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I know it's a busy schedule and training is going on. You're amidst the schedule for the Asian top nations tournament as well as playing with the New Zealand under 85 kg team as well. So thank you for making time. To start the conversation, I'm not going to talk about your history in rugby because a lot of people have read about it, know about it. I mean, to our followers, that you started very early days in Trinity College and then went into Mauritius and then played rugby in South Africa and back here in Sri Lanka, representing and most of your rugby career representing Kandy Sports Club as the champion team. My first question, Nigel, is about almost about a couple of weeks back that you had to lead Sri Lanka and you had to you announced retirement about a month back from club rugby, and then as far as I know you were on a family holiday and then national duty calls, Nigel, please come and lead Sri Lanka, and you took the challenge, came back. You had under 7 days to prepare with a team which represented different clubs who played together most of their lives. Putting them together, leading that team, a diversified team, and you produced a magical results. How did this happen in a short span of time? Take us through your experience.
So, yeah, as you said, I was called in and I came and took this huge responsibility of captain in Sri Lanka. And I had a great young talented squad with me. So when the squad was minimized to 25, then we came up with a plan with the coaches to see how we can manage to beat Malaysia with a short period of time. And then we all decided that we should have a very fast game, and we picked the correct players for the game plan that we wanted to execute. And the boys had this mentality. They worked really hard during the 7 days. We had morning, evening training, really hard. Great appreciation for them for doing it. I mean, young boys coming for national duty. Some of them were first caps.
Caps, yeah.
So it was a great effort by them. I really appreciate it with the whole squad.
So that's great. I think posing them with a challenge of wearing the national jersey and doing that larger role rather than playing for their club, I think that would have probably motivated them to focus on the goal, I believe.
Yes, I think playing club and playing national is totally different. The when you're given a chance to represent Sri Lanka, you represent the whole of Sri Lanka. So then I think the players themselves put in this hard work and a different motive of we are playing in Sri Lanka, especially playing in Sri Lanka, you don't want to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think they give everything when they play in Sri Lanka as well.
So you represented Sri Lanka in 15s as well as 7s. This is the first time you're captaining the national time. Yeah. So your role, specifically going back to that week of preparation for the Malaysia game, what was your specific role as a leader?
So it was nothing special about it. I didn't want to put a lot of pressure on the boys. The main thing for me was discipline. We have to get our on and off the field discipline done, and then the game's just there. You play 20 minutes. You break down the entire game for 20 minutes. You play the 4 halves, and by the 80 minutes you'll have the results that you want to. So it's basically you, number one, as I said, discipline number one to win the game.
Absolutely. I think, looking at that game, I can clearly see that you all had a specific plan and the plan was executed for near perfection, and that's the result. Nigel, I'm trying to draw your thinking from a rugby field, there are multiple examples, but specifically from the Sri Lanka experience we had. Um, do you have within the team, again, rewind back to that week, any rituals, practices that a corporate team as us, and we will also have a diversified teams coming in from multiple sides of lives. For a corporate, what lessons can we learn from a team like that?
So I think yes, it's so you for us we had a short period. So if you put that to corporate, it's nothing magic. It's the mindset you have to have. You know, you have one plan, you execute that. Everyone has to work according to that plan. And also, I tried within that 7 days. I tried to get information from the other youngsters on how they feel to play and how different patterns they have and the game plan or the moves they have. So I try to get every information possible and I try to see which will work. So I guess in corporate also you can do the same thing. You know,
Absolutely.
you get everyone's
Contribution.
opinions
Yeah.
and then see which one fits the best and then you execute that. I think that will work for
No,
corporate.
definitely. I think there's a lot of lessons. I mean, like throughout my life, even working with Candy Sports Club, also there are a lot of lessons from sports field that we can adapt. Especially Nigel managing. I mean, like the club teams, they play together cohesively, and hard season they build up for a year. And Sri Lanka, they haven't played for a long time since the last game. So coming from different backgrounds, different mentalities. Of course, like they are all friends in the field.
Yes.
How do you make these connections, the subcultures, the cliques within that?
So you try to move. You have a very short, limited time
Yeah.
to talk and move about because we have only like 2 hours. Then we off. Everyone's off on doing their own thing. So
Right.
within that 2-3 hours, you try to mingle with everyone and make friendship. And that's I think. That's a good thing that you can do. You don't get that opportunity all the time, so you try to get to know the other players as much as you want.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there's a fantastic example for anybody to build up a team, and given the challenge that you step up to it. So I'm moving into a different side of a question. 18th February 2024. I don't know whether you can recall the date exactly. This is the day that Candy Sports Club lost the league to CRNFC last year. That was a devastating moment. I remember your face. And being league champs for a long time, and one loss, or actually during that season, you lost 2 games and lost the league, and that was a big loss for Candy from a pride point of view, emotional point of view as well. How did you take it at that time? What was your memory on that day?
Well, it was devastating for me actually on that day because I've never experienced that. I've lost many games, in my
You win and
childhood,
lose,
my
yeah.
school,
Yeah.
yeah. But losing a game like that and losing a title, you're not going to win a title after winning so many titles. It was heartbroken. I was shattered, and I had tears. I'm normally don't tear or get emotional, but I had tears on at CR London Place, and then I told, and then Shahi, my wife, came and said, "Don't worry, we'll do it next year." And you came to me, and there's so many supporters. So the support that we got after losing meant that okay, there's so many people who will support me no matter whether it's a win or a lose. Even when you lose, you have that support coming in. So we have to do it for the people who support. That was my motive. Coming 24-25 season,
Yeah.
I'm doing it for the people in Kandy. I'm doing it for the people who support us in Colombo, taking their
All the
time
effort
off,
to come, yeah.
effort. I mean, so we made sure that we will do it next year. So that was our motive.
So I think that's again from there to build up, Nigel. I think it was a fantastic season, flawless season for 24-25. Candy completely dominating. If you really look at it in deep dive, Candy had the same resources, not much a change. Right, in terms of players, the combinations were same. So coming from that loss to winning a league, undisputed, double champions, knockout and league both, what went through that team, and especially you as a former captain and a senior player, how did you all manage the situation from the loss to the winning the league?
So as a squad, we looked back of what happened actually. So that whole season we did not perform to our standards. So we knew that okay, our standards are set so high, we are not even 50% there. So once we started pre-season, we said, okay, no, we need to train hard. Okay, we always train hard, but it's not enough for this. So this season, we decided you train hard, you have your motive. We lost. Remember that we're not going to lose again, and do it for the people once again, because they make a lot of effort to come support us, and that's how I think the boys got really clicked as a unit, and it was just flawless rugby at the end.
I mean, especially the youngsters. I think, one of the significant things I saw during the season was the youngsters stepping up to
Yes.
the role and taking responsibility, especially with the senior team being around. How did the youngsters take this loss? I know that you're all motivated to win. There are instances I've seen the youngsters suddenly lose it, okay, saying, okay, we lost it, and, heartbroken, and it's difficult to come back. How did they take, and how did you see them coming up?
I think the youngsters, you must give all the credit to them. Positive attitude. Uh, they came. I mean, we started 4, so I could see everyone at 3:15 in the grounds doing their individual prep. So that itself is like, that's the motive. Okay, I'm just going to make sure 100% I get my skills sorted. So as when you come as a unit, you don't have to do individual. So Fazil as a coach, it was easy for him to do the unit training, and then we knew we will do our individual training by ourselves. So from the youngsters especially, I must thank them. I mean, they did a great job bringing Candy Rugby to that level. So I hope they keep doing it.
Keep doing
Yes.
that. Yeah, absolutely. Nigel, that you mentioned about Fazil, let me jump into a question where I want to refer about Fazil. Now, Fazil and you, as friends, go a long way. Thick friendship. If I go into details, I think, I remember the speech at Fazil's wedding also, that friendship is thicker than the marriage, I suppose. Anyway, so as a player, Fazil becoming your coach, how do you manage professionally, and especially in a demanding environment, your friendship and the relationship as a player and a coach? How did you guys manage this? I should probably asking this from Fazil also, but let me ask your perspective.
So yeah, it initially it was a little bit, how we friends, do this that, but after I realized there are youngsters also, so I need to give him the respect as a coach. So on the field, I respected everything, what he says. So we plan, we have a side plan without anyone knowing, and see whether it works.
Okay.
This works without others getting involved, and then I give my feedback, he gives his, and we put it together like we plan always. And it always respect the coach. At the end of the day, he's the coach. We have to agree
Absolutely.
on what he does.
So I mean, on top of that, I mean, yes, I understand the respect, and there's a strategy work around. Do you think that the friendship also played a key role to execute things better and be more effective?
Yes, so I think we have a better understanding. So say he reads my mind, I read his mind, kind of a thing. So
To connect easy.
connect each other. So we know how the training should go, and if I know, if I feel the training's not up to the standards, then the seniors get together and try to push it, saying we're not up to standard today, so let's buckle up, kind
Okay.
of a thing. Then no pressure to him.
Yeah.
So we try to ease off the pressure from the coaches, not only like him, but it's Henry. I
Henry as
played
well,
with
yeah.
him. Then there is Taraka.
Yeah.
So we try to ease off the pressure of them, and senior players come together and do that.
That's fantastic. Even in my experience at work environment also, when I have that friendship, I think beyond, I mean, obviously we respect the hierarchy, etc., but that chemistry actually delivers far better results, and
Yes.
you can do things more effectively. Coming into your retirement, a lot of people question. In fact, some people ask me, why did Nigel retire? Of course, I can't answer on behalf of you. Do you think it's the right time, or was it the right decision?
Yes, I think it was the right decision. Now I'm 35 years, and I think I have achieved most of what I want to achieve in my period. So, and also, yeah, I've given everything I have in my body, So I think it's time to look at something else, but always will be connected to rugby, will be involved in it.
I think another angle I see is like, when you're at your peak.
Yes.
So I mean, the saying goes saying that you should retire or you should step down at the time when people ask why, and maybe not
Correct.
why not.
I was actually going to mention that, and yeah, that is one thing that I had in mind as well.
No, I'm sure with your experience and your exposure, both Sri Lanka Rugby as well as Candy will definitely benefit. They will need your services from different roles, I suppose. And before I moved, I mean, from retirement, something that I know about Nigel, about a couple of years ago, I asked you, okay, what are your plans? He said, look, no big plans. I want to stay near the beach side with my surfboard, wearing a sarong. And I think, half of that dream is being in realization, right?
Yes, it is. I love surfing. So when I am not with the rugby ball, it's the beach and the surfboard. So I'm looking forward to that with my son Niket.
Yeah.
He loves it too. So yeah.
Excellent. Nigel, now we spoke about retirement. I think one of the key questions I had this conversation with Johan Taylor, the former Candy coach also some time back. He said, in any other country, especially in South Africa, if you have a caliber of person like you, we took the example of Sanjeev Jayasinghe, the greatest wing three-quarter Sri Lanka had. If somebody like that retires in South Africa, opens up a small shop, people will come for that, his reputation, and you will make a business out of it. But mostly in Sri Lanka, some of the youngsters do not take up rugby because of the career commitments, etc. Life beyond rugby, I think it's very important to think, especially in the youngsters now that the school season has also started. You're a person I've admired. I've seen you have done your studies. I'm not going to elaborate on the degrees that you have done. You have done your professional studies. You have done your piloting exams. You have set up a successful business with your wife. So talk us through life beyond rugby. How should one approach, and especially to the youngsters who are inspired to looking at your path and keeping you as a role model.
So yeah, what I would say is studies. You need to have a backup plan while playing rugby. Try to finish your degree or diploma, and then look at something what you want to do. Something maybe you like to do. It can be a restaurant, or like a electrician, or like a salesman or businessman. Try to have that backup plan.
Career, yeah.
It's not only you go gym in the morning, grounds at 4 o'clock, come back, sleep. No, you have to look at something, because sometimes rugby can, you can play for 3-4 years and you can have a major injury.
Yeah.
And then what you're going to do? So you have to have that backup plans. So what I would say is, as soon as you finish school, since you have that path of studying, you're in that mood of studying.
Yeah.
So finish it. As soon as you finish school, start doing your degree, diploma, and then you're done. Then
Yeah.
you don't have to think and look back. Okay, I have 7 years. I'm not done anything. Or
Yeah.
suddenly you decide to do. It's too late, because as a human, it's not going to click.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Some will, but some may no.
So do you advise this to your colleagues as well, the Candy, especially
Yes,
the Candy?
I've actually had a couple of chats with the youngsters who came into our squad.
Yeah.
I've told them, initially it's hard.
Yeah.
You finish a long period of school and studying, and then again to
You don't
study.
feel like-
yeah,
yeah.
but if you do that, you're done, and then you don't have to think, I've got a qualification. It's just that how I'm going to put that qualification out and look for a job and try to find a new pathway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's not rocket science, Nigel. I mean, there are a lot of successful doctors in Sri Lanka who have played rugby at the
Yes.
highest level. Dr. Maya Gunasekara, Dr. Fred Pereira, etc. And you have people like Harisoma who has completed the studies and gone into the corporate world. Fazil on the other side,
Yes.
apart from his rugby, built up a business around it, and then you. So I think there's a lot of inspiration around. It's just that the focus, and especially being employed and getting experience
Yes.
through that, is important for the youngsters. Right. So that sort of concludes my official questioning. I'm going to put you on the spot with some rapid fire questions.
All right.
Right.
Let's
Put
do
you in
this.
some trouble. Yeah. Let's see how you go with this. The first one, I want quick, spontaneous
Okay.
answers from you. Most overrated overseas player, in your opinion?
Burden Barrett.
Gordon Barrett, okay, right. I won't ask about any explanation on that one, yeah, but I'm sure you're going to hurt most of the Gordon Barrett fans over there. Best number 10 ever in Sri Lanka?
Fazil.
Fazil, okay, that's my choice too. Internationally?
Dan Carter.
Right. So let's move into the next one. Most challenging opposition in Sri Lanka in club rugby
This year or overall?
overall.
I think the last 2 years was Sia.
Yeah.
I think Havi's also is up with the
Up
bar.
there, yeah.
there,
I think, you know,
Havi's and
even with the younger side, I think
yes,
Havis have been
yes,
challenging and knocking
yes.
on the doors, right? You know, I think a couple of years ago also Havis was the number 2 when Candy won the league as
Yes.
well. Right. Now this is a little bit of a tough one. I'm going to give you a few options to select one, bench one, and drop one.
Okay.
Let me start with my favorite position, scrum half. Roshan Veeraratne, Heshan Jansen, and Srinath Surya Bandara. Tough one.
Yeah. Tough
Start one, bench
Start-
one, and drop one.
Okay.
You can't consider Roshan being overseas to drop, but you know.
Yeah. So start Roshan,
Start Roshan.
bench Suri.
Ben Suri, Heshan, youngster. maybe
Youngster,
keep out,
he'll-
given the
he'll
chance.
come there.
He'll come
I mean,
there.
he'll
yeah.
come there.
Obviously, you go with the
Yes.
experience of Roshan
Yes.
and Suri. Going to the third row, some interesting characters. Again, start, bench, and drop. Suhiru Anthony, Shehan Patiran, and Jason Disanayaka.
Lema start.
Lema start.
Uh,
Lema, Shehan Patirana, Anthony, and Jason.
I'd say Anthony
Okay.
from the bench.
Okay.
Yeah.
And drop Jason. Okay.
Jason's in England, so
You consider that part of it.
yeah.
Okay. Now, next one is a combination. I always had in my mind who should be the best 12 and 13 for Sri Lanka. I have one or two, two current players and lot of older players so that you have the choice
Yeah.
of picking up. The best center combination for Sri Lanka, in your opinion? Gayan Veeraratne, Pradeep Liyanage, Tarinda Ratwatte, Indrajit Bandarnayaka, Sajit Mallikarachchi, Danushka Ranjan.
12 and 13.
Yeah.
12 will be Tari.
Okay.
13 will be Laya.
Pradeep Liyanage, devastating number 13 back in his days. I think all these center combinations, especially everybody played for Candy, and you know even Gayan and Pradeep playing for 12 and 13 was also tough fun. Indrajit Bandar.
No, they're all good. I'm
all
not
good.
saying
Yeah.
they're not.
But you're given the
yeah,
choice only
given
two.
the choice,
Yeah, you have
yes.
to pick. So it's a tough one. I know. You know, you managed that challenge. Right. So let me move into the next one. In the Candy setup during the current squad, who's the most disciplined apart from you?
Dange, Dinal.
You committed. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The youngsters are all of them are quite committed. And
Who's the craziest of the squad?
Dange.
Okay. Fantastic. Last rapid fire. Oh, no, sorry. 2 more questions. One before the last. You have, you've been coached by Johan Taylor as well as Fasil Marja. Who has taken the best out of you?
Well, it's two different. So I'd say I learned a lot from Johan Taylor. You know, the basic skill that I've never even thought of. You know, how you catch a ball, how you pass the ball, maybe how you read the.
Very different
Very
thinking.
different thinking.
Yeah.
So every time he comes, I learn new things. So grateful for that. I always send him a message saying thank you. You know, I've learned so much. But Fazil also, you know, we've been playing together, and then he's been coaching, so we know basically. What Johan taught us. So,
Oh, right, okay.
So it's like
So it's easy to connect
easy to
and
connect,
get the best. So that I think Fasil gets the best out of
Yes.
you in terms of,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. Your preferred position, 10 or 15?
10.
10 always.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So when Fasil plays 10, you had to play
Yes.
the 15.
But you know,
during
we
that
had
time.
this plan, we had this pattern that we both are behind each other. So
Okay.
I was not always at the back.
Okay.
I mean, attacking wise, we were always playing
together.
close to each other. So
Last rapid fire question. Your rugby idol.
I think Joan De Villiers.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the way he leads the team and
A great leader,
great leader.
good flair as a player.
Yeah, but he was very unlucky that he
Yeah.
couldn't play a World Cup or lift a World Cup. But he was a great leader, especially Curry Cup when he was playing Curry Cup, Western Province. He's a great player.
All right, okay. Right, so this comes to the last bit of our conversation, Nigel. Sri Lanka Rugby is at a good position right now, a great juncture that we can grow from here onwards, and we've been qualified for the very first time for the top tier, or not for the very first time, after a long period of time we've been qualified for the top tier. potential opportunity to get into Rugby World Cup as well. We are also getting exposure playing with the New Zealand under 85 kilo teams as well. If you're given a position as a administrator of Sri Lanka Rugby, what would be your vision and how should Sri Lanka Rugby go forward from here?
Yeah, if I was given, I would change the whole thing. Get a proper system, get the proper people who can run it. Who are very interested in developing the game and not just being there and for themselves. So I would do that. I hope this is not very controversial.
I hope so. I mean, it's the vision that we want
but
to.
it's my
Your passion.
this is what I see. So
Yeah, absolutely.
if you want to develop, this has to be done. It
Yeah.
has to be done. So, and we have a great set of young, talented rugby players in Sri Lanka who has a bright future.
Absolutely.
So for them to come up or look forward for the future, we need to set up a proper system.
Absolutely.
So that has to come immediately to Sri Lanka Rugby.
So nurture them, grow them. I mean, it's not just about playing this game and again
Yes.
going back to their own selves, but groom them, take them through, have a system to take
Yes.
care of player welfare. It's very important. Nutrition,
It
training,
is very
etc.
important, yeah.
And also, it's not about just coming together to play just one game and move forward.
I mean, it's a long-term plan. It's not
Yeah.
a short-term where you turn up for a week and play one game, then you're back next year. No, it's a long-term plan. So for all this to happen, you need a proper system in place. So a system and a planning.
Absolutely. So, Nigel, that comes into a conclusion of our discussion, and thank you very much for joining amidst your busy schedule. I take this opportunity on behalf of Jan Shakti Group to wish you all the luck for the upcoming season and all your future plans in your business as well as in career, Nigel. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Thank you very much.
I'm sure all our followers were inspired by Nigel's thoughts. I think it's a great way to learn a lot of stuff from sporting field. Those who have played the sports at the highest level or even at the school level understand the dynamics, how you can learn that to implement at your corporate environment or to your career. I'm sure Nigel shed a lot of light on that, and especially with the background of Sri Lanka team coming together and creating a miracle. I think from here onwards, it's upwards that we need to work towards with a clear vision and winning that titles that we want to. And with that, we would like to wrap up. Stay tuned for our next podcast. Thank you.